Hello and welcome back to the channel for a new video. I really do appreciate you coming on and clicking on this video. Please like, please subscribe. So what's this video about? I'll tell you what it's about. Saudi Arabia have decided to invest and buy every single club in the William Hill Premiership in Scotland. Well, I say every single club. They're a little bit sick and tired of seeing Rangers and Celtic dominate the league for the last 40 years. Aberdeen were the last club to do it in 1985, and then Hearts narrowly missed out, losing the last game of the season this year. The Saudis have had enough. They're going to invest. What are they going to invest? Well, a one-off investment of £1 billion to every single club apart from Rangers and Celtic. 10 clubs with £1 billion. Let's see how they all do, and let's see how they get on. We're going to cover 5 seasons, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at the reputation of these clubs in Scotland as well, see where Scotland sort of ranks, and then see if that improves over the 5 years. Can Motherwell win a Champions League? Or Aberdeen? Or Dundee? Or any of the others? Let's go and have a look. So we haven't done anything at all with the stadiums, with the training, with the players. The only thing that we've done in here is we've given them £1 billion. We've given them £1 billion. That's all we've given them. You can see it there. Some of the scouting budgets allow me to change it to 5 million. Some of them don't. I've given them maximum wage budget as well, because there's no point having £1 billion if you can't pay the wages. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in and have a look and see how these teams will fare over the seasons. What we'll do first though is we'll have a look at the reputation of the William Hill Premiership, and we'll do that now. Competition ranking is 14th in Europe. I don't know if I can click on this and see this. Let's just have a look. So the Premier League is top of the rankings, followed by Serie A. And then the Spanish First Division, Germany, France, Netherlands, Portugal. It goes on and on and on. If we scroll down to, I'm a little bit fast with my mouse, William Hill Premiership, 14th in Scotland, 14th in Europe on reputation. We're going to try and get that potentially up to the top 3 or 4, maybe top 5 in Europe. Will this happen? It just depends how they do and how they spend the money. So what I'll do is I'll go forward a little bit just to the transfer window and see if there's been any signings brought in by anybody, and see if anybody's spending the big bucks straight away, or if they're all just keeping a tight hold on the purse strings and waiting for the right players to come around. Let's get into it. So not the transfer spend I was expecting to see. Rangers have spent the most, 34 million. Celtic 11.5, and then they've received 2 back, and then Hearts with 5.25. Nobody else has spent, well, Hibernian 2.3, Aberdeen 2.1. After that, nobody has spent even £1 million. Very strange. I do wonder if they are just sort of keeping a hold of this money and identifying the right targets. I mean, we are at the back end of August, so there may be a little bit of activity going on. And the last couple of days, there might be some activity in January. So I think what we need to do is simulate the season, get to the end of the season, see who's done what, and then potentially see if there's any signings. I'm predicting, without looking, that we'll still have a Celtic Rangers or Rangers Celtic 1 and 2, and nothing's going to change in the first season. I think it's going to take a few seasons for this to kick in. But let's go and have a look. Let's forward to the end of season 1. So as predicted, Rangers win the league, Celtic finish second. If you're wondering why Rangers are in orange, I've actually added myself as a Rangers manager. But what I've done is let my assistant do everything, just so I can see everything up close and personal. So don't worry, I'm not managing Rangers. I'm not doing anything with them. And as you can see, when you click into Rangers there as well, they don't have any money. If we go to the editor there, you'll see that club details, finances, they've got 40 million in the bank. So it's just what it would normally be with them. Hibernian did finish 3rd, so that's really good for Hibernian. Dundee, St Mirren, Falkirk, Aberdeen and Hearts very, very bad season, and Motherwell got relegated. So I wonder if Motherwell will spend some money next season to get themselves back into the Premier League, because they've got £1 billion. They should still have £1 billion if I go in and have a look at it. Let's have a look. Well, they've got 976 million. So yeah, they have. They've got £1 billion virtually. So quite a strange one. There's a few teams sort of switching positions quite a bit in the league, where you'd expect them to be. Motherwell's certainly not a team that you would expect to get relegated as well. So I think what we need to do is have a quick look at the transfers and see if anything changed between the start of the transfer window when we had a look in August and the end of the transfer window in January. Let's go and have a look at that, and then we'll get into season 2. Well, look at that spend. Hibernian, £141 million this season spent. Aberdeen 83 million, Dundee 52, St Mirren 26. Then Celtic with 23, Dundee United with 11. There's a lot of clubs down here that haven't. Motherwell have spent 55,000. That's probably why Motherwell got relegated. Rangers only spent 42,000. So possibly this is why maybe some of these teams have struggled, and some of these teams now have bought themselves a squad for next season. I think what we have to do is pretty much get ourselves straight in to the action and have a look at what's going to happen in season 2. Just as a little tease, I'm not going to show the league just yet. I'm going to go to the Premier Sports Cup, which is basically the Carabao League Cup in Scotland. Hearts have beat Rangers 2-1. So Rangers have not won the Premier Sports Cup. Celtic aren't there either. Did Celtic get? Yeah, Celtic got knocked out by Rangers in the semi-final. Let's have a look and see who won the Scottish Cup. Normal service resumed in the Scottish Cup. We had a Rangers-Celtic final. So nothing's changed there in season 2. But have things changed in the league? Well, go on, let's have a look. Let's have a quick look at the league. I'll go this way because it's quicker. League table shows Aberdeen since 1985. They've never won the league. They've won it now in 2027. Fantastic achievement. Hearts of Midlothian second. Hibernian third. Mighty Rangers down in 4th. Dundee 5th. Kilmarnock 6th. Celtic didn't make it into the top playoff group. They finished 7th, and St Johnstone and Livingston got relegated from the division. Big season for transfers as well. Hearts 135 million spent. Dundee 134, Aberdeen 105, followed by Kilmarnock 85, Hibernian 64, St Mirren. Rangers didn't spend anything. Celtic didn't spend anything. Wow, this is shaping up to possibly be a very, very interesting next 3 seasons. Let's get straight into season 3 and see how we're getting on. Reputation in Scotland, of course, as well. 16th in Europe, so we've actually dropped down the rankings. 16th now. We are behind the Denmark League, the Danish League, and the Austrian League, the Polish League. So the reputation of the William Hill Premiership certainly hasn't improved. But we'll have a quick look and see if anybody did anything in Europe, and then we'll jump straight into season 3. So in the Champions League, there was only Rangers playing in the group stage. They finished 29th. They didn't even make the playoffs. And in the Europa League, Celtic were knocked out in the knockout playoff round on penalties by Shakhtar Donetsk. Europa Conference League, Aberdeen got to the round of 16 and they were then knocked out 3-1 on aggregate by Besiktas. So, not a good season for the clubs in Europe. I think by the time we get to season 5, we probably will see a little bit more in Europe from some of these clubs, especially the way they're spending the money. So let's get into season 3. You all know the score. Click that subscribe button. Please hit the like button. And sorry, my throat's going. I've got a little bit of man flu. And also, please drop some comments in there as well. Tell us what you like, tell us what you'd like to see, because I'm more than happy to make videos for you at every opportunity I get. Right, season 3. Hearts have done it. Hearts have won the league after coming so close in real life this season. They've finished top on 76 points, Dundee United hot on their heels, and Celtic back up the third. So Celtic's season dramatically improving from last year. Kilmarnock, Hibernian and Dundee make up the other 3 places, and the mighty Rangers finished 10th. A comfortable 28 points away from Greenock Morton, who got relegated. So there was no fear that Rangers were going to go down, but how the mighty have fallen. Would anything change in the cup competitions though? That's where we need to have a look, and also in Europe as well, because we have teams in the Champions League who have never been in the Champions League. A Dundee derby in the Premier Sports Cup. Dundee United beating Dundee 3-0. So, not a Rangers or a Celtic in sight. I mean, I do say that, but Celtic were in the semi-final. They got knocked out by Dundee, and Rangers got knocked out by Dundee in the quarter-final. So some big scalps from Dundee. Right, let's see what's happening in the Scottish Cup. Well, Dundee United have only gone and done it and won the Scottish Cup. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Beating Celtic in the final. So Celtic did make the final. We didn't have Rangers in the semi-final. Did we have them in the quarter-final? No, we didn't have them in the quarter-final. 5th round? Wow. 4th round. Greenock Morton beating them 3-1. Wow, this is really interesting. I can't wait to get into the European competitions and get to the end of season 5. Let's have a look at Europe. Well, Aberdeen went the furthest in the Champions League, getting knocked out of the playoff round by Juventus 3-2 on aggregate. So Aberdeen did pretty well for their first season in the Champions League. Let's see if anybody else did well in Europe as well. In the Europa League, Rangers got to the round of 16, being beaten 3-2 on aggregate by Atletico Madrid. And the mighty Hibernian have managed to get all the way into a quarter-final in the UEFA Conference League, being beaten by Torino 3-0. So, it might take a little while, but I think eventually we will get there. Let's crack on and have a look at the start of season 4. Aberdeen win the league, back to the top there with 76 points. Dundee United, on the back of those 2 cup wins last season, finished on 67 in 2nd place. Hibs 3rd, Kilmarnock 4th, Falkirk and Motherwell, who got relegated if you remember at the start of the first season, have finished a respectable 6th. Rangers and Celtic and Hearts all in the bottom half of the table. And Dundee as well, who got to the cup final last season. Airdrie Unions relegated on a paltry 9 points, bless them. Unfortunately, that's not been a good season for them at all. So, who's won the cups? And then we can get to season 5, see if there's been any more transfers, and also see where the league ranks as well in Europe. So Premier Sports Cup quarter-final, Celtic and Rangers both being knocked out of the competition, which just left Hearts and Aberdeen to battle it out in the final, and Hearts winning the final 3-1 in extra time. Let's have a look at the Scottish Cup. In normal services resumes, Celtic have won the Scottish Cup. Had a really bad season in the league, but they've managed to win a trophy. I thought we might end their dominance by now, but clearly they're still capable of doing something. Let's see who's done what in Europe though, that'll be more interesting. Well, it's looking like it's gone backwards because Hearts didn't even qualify for the group stage. They didn't get anywhere near. Obviously the coefficient in Scotland isn't great at the moment, but what we need somebody to start winning a trophy or at least get through to the latter stages. I know the Champions League's a big call by season 5, but you would think somebody would possibly go on and do well in these competitions, but clearly not. I think we need to check out the other 2 competitions. Let's go and have a look at the Europa League. Well, because Hearts got knocked out so early on, they ended up going into the Europa League, and they've done really well. They've got to the quarter-final, and they've been beaten 5-4 on aggregate. So progress there. We're seeing something happening slowly but surely by season 4. And another team from Scotland in the quarterfinals of the Conference League, Celtic. So Celtic are still there, still winning things, still battling in Europe as well. So yeah, a little bit of a mixed bag. We thought Celtic maybe would have been not relegated, but been out of the picture by now. The same with Rangers, but clearly they still keep popping up. I think it's possibly a reputation problem in Scotland at the moment. But as you can see, the Scottish William Hill Premiership is ranked 13th in Europe as one of the best competitions. So it's still there or thereabouts where it was at the start. It's not a dramatic change at all. I think as we possibly simulate in the next video I do further on in the future, and we do a little bit bigger jumps to maybe season 10, 15, I think we possibly will see the reputation of the league going. Let's get into our final season though, season 5. Well, unless you're Hearts, the spending's dropped off dramatically. Hearts have spent 59 million. Second biggest spend, Kilmarnock, 7.25. And then Celtic, Aberdeen, and then the also rans. Rangers haven't spent anything again. So the spending has definitely slowed down. Are we in a situation now though where these clubs potentially haven't got the money? Well, that's not true, because if you look at Hearts, they've got a balance of 521 million. So they've still got plenty of money to spend. So it's certainly not a financial reason why clubs aren't spending. I will check some of the other clubs out though. Let's get into the league and have a look and see who's won the league. Well, after spending all that money, they've won the league again. Hearts, the second time they've won the league now. 2 for Aberdeen as well. Kilmarnock finishing second. Motherwell third. They've come a long way from their relegation a few seasons ago. Rangers back up in 4th now into a European spot. Dundee United in 5th. Celtic finishing in the top half as well. Livingston finishing bottom and going out of the league. If we look at Kilmarnock, just as an example, 627 million. So they have got the money, definitely. Motherwell, who if you remember, had the money and then were relegated. So they had to go down and come back up. 762 million. So the money's there. The ranking in Europe now is 10th. So we are now above the Greek Super League, the Czechia First Division, the Norwegian Premier League. So reputation's improved as well. Is this because we may have actually conquered Europe? Let's check the cups first and then we'll get to Europe. Well, relegated Livingston won the Premier Sports Cup with an extra time winner. That was something that wasn't foreseen. Semi-finals, Dundee United beating Hearts and Livingston beating the mighty Rangers. So in the Scottish Cup, Hearts have done the double, 5-1 against Dundee United in the final. Semi-final, it beat St Johnstone, Dundee beat Kilmarnock. Do we have a Celtic or a Rangers? Not even in the quarter-final. Got to go back to the 5th round for Rangers and Celtic, who both got knocked out of the competition. So how did they fare in Europe? I'm figuring the competition now has started to increase, and I would think we may get somebody getting into the latter stages of at least the Conference League and Europa, and hopefully qualifying through the group stage of the Champions League. Let's start with the Champions League. Well, it's progress. It's definitely progress, because Aberdeen have got through to the knockout playoff rounds. It could be a dodgy competition, couldn't it? Be the knockoff playoff round of the Champions League. Getting beaten by Barcelona 6-1 on aggregate, which is, most teams get hammered off Barcelona. Let's face facts. So progress nonetheless. Can we progress in the Europa League? Well, we can, because there's mighty Hibernian in the quarter-final of the Europa League playing against Lens of France. And then getting to the semi-final where they lost 4-1 on aggregate against Atletico Bilbao. So that's definitely progress. We've not had a team this deep in Europe so far. Could we get one going one better and getting into the final of the Conference League, or even better, winning it? Well, we can, because there's mighty Hibernian in the quarter-final of the Europa League playing against Lens of France, and then getting to the semi-final where they lost 4-1 on aggregate against Atletico Bilbao. So that's definitely progress. We've not had a team this deep in Europe so far. Could we get one going one better and getting into the final of the Conference League, or even better, winning it? Well, so close and yet so far. Celtic have proved no matter what you do, they will still be there or thereabouts in the competitions, and they've got all the way to the final of the Conference League and lost to Manchester United. Well, it's been an interesting 5 years, and what I'm going to do when I come back for Series 2 of this, I'm going to simulate a little bit further in the future, and we'll skip through and we'll have a look at some of these teams, and we'll have a look and see if the reputation of Scotland's improved any more. I've also had somebody who posted on the channel when I was putting this out on social media saying it would be quite interesting if you give the second league the same sort of money as well, so these teams could get promoted into the Premiership. I like that idea. So what I think I'll do is I'll go and edit and add the money into those teams as well, so it'll be a little bit more interesting. It won't be a club just getting promoted, finding that everybody else has got £1 billion more than them and getting relegated and being a yo-yo club. It will be more interesting, and maybe Celtic and Rangers will find themselves getting relegated. Let's see. I'd love to see how this turns out. So if you want to see how it turns out, do not miss an episode. And how you don't miss an episode is click on the like button, click on the subscribe button, leave a comment below, and you will be get a notification to let you know when the next video drops, which hopefully should be in the next few days. I'm going to try and do it as quickly as I can for you and simulate at least 5-10 years into the future. I hope you've enjoyed watching. My name's Andy FM Forever. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. I'm signing out. Bye bye.